Israel F. Araka, and this is the report of Group 2. And the topic that we need to discuss is about critical literacy. The concept of critical literacy is theoretically diverse and combines ideas from various critical theories, such as critical linguistic, feminist theory, critical race theory, as well as a reader response theory and cultural and media studies. Critical literacy is an essential thinking skill that involves the questioning and examination of ideas and requires one to synthesize, analyze, interpret, evaluate, and respond to the text read or listen to. Critical literacy uses text and print skills in ways that enable students to examine the politics of daily life within contemporary society, with a view to understanding what it means to locate and actively seek out contradictions with modes of life, theories, substantive intellectual positions, rather than promoting any particular reading of any particular group or text. Critical literacy seeks to examine the historical and contemporaneous privileging of and exclusion of groups of people and ideas from mainstream narratives.
History of critical literacy. Critical literacy has its roots in the work of Paulo Freire, whose ideas focus on empowering individuals through education to critically examine and challenge social structures. Emerging in the 1970s, critical literacy goes beyond basic reading and writing skills, aiming to cultivate a deeper understanding of power dynamics, social justice, and the ability to analyze and rethink questions about the text, thereby encouraging active engagement with social issues. Over time, it has evolved, incorporating diverse perspectives and frameworks, contributing to its application in education and broader social contexts. The history of literacy is evident in various educational movements and initiatives. One example is the use of critical pedagogy in the classroom, inspired by the work of Paulo Freire. Teachers apply its principle to enable students to question and critique the social, political, and cultural dynamics present in the text. For example, in history class, students can critically analyze primary documents, examining biases and power structure to better understand historical events beyond stories. Normally, this example demonstrates the practical application of important literacy principles in education.
Critical literacy and the arts. The creation of artistic products by an individual and the perception and rejection upon others' artworks showcase the power of critical literacies at work within art context. Luke 2000 argues that it is primary aim of critical literacy to first, allow students to see how texts work to construct their worlds, their cultures, and their identities in powerful, often overtly ideological ways, and understand how they use text as social tools in ways that allow for a reconstruction of this same world.
Coding practices. Developing resources as a code picker. How do I crack this text? How does it work? What are its pattern and convention? How do the sounds and the marks relate singly and in combination? Text meaning practices. Developing resources as a text participant. How do the ideas represented in the text string together? What cultural resources can be brought to bear on the text? What are the cultural meanings and possible readings that can be constructed from the text? Pragmatic practices. Developing resources as text user. How do the uses of this text shapes its composition? What do I do with this text here and now? What will others do with it? What are my options and alternatives? One example of pragmatics in language would be if one person asks, "What do you want to eat?" and another responded, "Ice cream is good this time of year." The second person did not explicitly say what they wanted to eat, but their statement implies that they want to eat ice cream.
Let's proceed to our next topic. It's all about textual analysis. Textual analysis can be guided by asking the learners to make their way systematically through a list of questions, such as the following. First, what is the subject or topic of this text? You need to know first the subject or topic in the text. Second, why might the author have written it? You need to find out why the author wrote it. Third, who is it written for? How do you know? You have to find out for whom it was written and how you can find out. Fourth, what values does the author assume the reader holds? How do you know? Fifth, what knowledge does the reader need to bring to the text in order to understand it? Next, who would feel left out in this text and why? Who would feel that the claims made in the text clash with their own values, beliefs, or experiences? Then lastly, how is the reader positioned in relation to the author? Example, as a friend, as an opponent, as someone who agrees with the author's view.
We're going to discuss to you the next topic, which is credibility. When we say credibility, means trustworthiness and competence. Before the audience accept any message, he will judge whether the communicator and the organization. The individual represent can be relied upon and is competent enough to give the information. So, pag sinabi po nating credibility o kredibilidad, ito ay ang sukat ng pagiging katiwa-tiwala ng isang individual. Napakahalaga ito sa pakikitungo sa bawat tao o bawat individual. Sapagkat kung mababa ang kredibilidad ng isang tao, maaaring hindi siya pagkatiwalaan sa kung anumang hihingin niyang pabor o serbisyo. Yan po ang ibig sabihin ng credibility o kredibilidad. Thank you.
Accuracy. Information needs to be up to date, factual, detailed, exact, and comprehensive. Things to bear in mind when judging accuracy include timeliness and comprehensiveness. We must therefore be careful to note when information was created before deciding whether it is still of value.
Reasonableness involves examining the information for fairness, objectivity, and moderateness. Fairness requires the writer to offer a balanced argument and to consider claims made by people with opposing views. A good information text will have a calm, reasoned tone, arguing or presenting material thoughtfully. Like comprehensiveness, objectivity is difficult to achieve. Good writers, however, try to minimize bias.
Support for the writer's argument from other sources strengthens their credibility. It can take various forms such as writing bibliography and references and corroboration. It is a good idea to triangulate information, that is to find at least 3 texts that agree. If the other texts do not agree, further research into the range of opinion or disagreement is needed. Readers should be careful when statistics are presented without identifying their source or when they cannot find any other texts that present or acknowledge the same information.
Let's proceed to our last topic. It's all about text clustering. Text clustering involves confronting students with texts which obviously contradict each other. The task is to use whatever evidence they can find to try to make judgments about where the truth actually lies. Sometimes these judgments are relatively easy. News reports, fairy tales, everyday texts, and good materials for text clustering. And this is the end of our topic. Thank you for watching. Be safe and God bless. Bye.